Bahias. This is twin 62s, twin turbocharged 2016 Camaro SS we built. I'm sure Jimmy will throw up some photos of what the whole build looks like, dyno video, stuff like that. This car we originally built three and a half years ago. We did a piston rod setup in it, a Hellion off-the-shelf kit with twin 62s, Circle D converter, one of our cam setups, ported heads, and you know, our low side fuel system meth kit, yada yada. That combo made right at about 1,000, and he drove that for a long time, and he went really fast in the quarter mile with it. He kept turning it up, and you know, eventually one of the turbos on the 62s failed, and we thought it was something hurt in the motor. Just kept making less power, just wasn't running as hard as it had been, and we're like, well, you know, you've got a lot of use out of this motor, might be something in the bottom end. Did a compression leak down, and it came back fine, but I think he was kind of using it as a reason to go further. We ended up doing a sleeved LT motor. It's now 427 cubic inches. We did a set of CID heads ported by late model engines. We did a Frankenstein billet intake manifold, Crawford Holley Dominator setup for the port injection, a 4 Innovations fuel system. It's got a Tim King built 8-speed auto. We originally had done a 15-inch conversion on this and some suspension items, so those carried over. We then bumped up to precision 68's, and we redid the entire kit. Basically, the only thing Hellion left is the manifolds and the fuse block kind of relocation bracket. We redid all the charge piping, downpipes, wastegate priority was redone, new dump tubes for those. We have downpipes out the hood, that's why it's kind of loud. We also did a new intercooler using a bell core. We fabricated all the intakes and everything. We redid all the cold side and everything else to go along with the motor. So now we're getting ready to run it at its first track outing since the new combo tomorrow night. Kind of curious how it'll do. It's still on the 8-speed auto, so it's on borrowed time. He knows that. He knows the evolution of this needs to be TH400 and a 9-inch rear end. That's where this is gonna really shine at. But he does want to run the current combo and kind of see how it does. Right now I'm just driving it. We've used a lot of DEI gold reflective tape everywhere in the engine bay to try to mitigate certain areas. Everything's ceramic coated and got blankets on it and stuff, but I'm gonna drive it, we're gonna clean it, and then we're gonna use the FLIR gun, kind of see how things are doing temp-wise, see if we need to add any additional tape anywhere to try to make sure we don't run into an issue if he were to drive this for a long period of time, not just, you know, 10 minutes to the track or to a quick car show or something. Like, if he were to drive this an hour long, what problems might arise? And we really want to try to combat that or get ahead of the curve on it. This car, after the track outing, is scheduled to come back. We're going to do a full cage in this vehicle. We're going to do a parachute. We're going to do a couple other little safety items. We just kind of ran out of time getting the motor all together and all the fabrication for this outing on Saturday. It's a private event, so it'll be okay. This car, for a lot of you guys that have followed us for a long time, are very familiar with it. His Instagram is twin 62s. He might change that now to twin 68's, but who knows what he plans on doing with it. So far, doing good. Oil temps 200, coolant temps 200. I have the AC on. It's 64 out, so I don't really need the AC, but I got the window up because I want you to be able to hear me better, and I'm making sure that the AC works and it does not run hot with the AC going on. One thing we do need to mount once I get back, we have the little Holley screen. That's really just so we can kind of set something up to where if it were to go lean, making a pass, it's going to start flashing some lights at him to try to direct him to look and see what's going on. In 21, our big push in the shop is going to be more standalone stuff. Reason being is once you get into the high horsepower cars, yeah, we do it on stock computers all the time. I've almost ran a 7 on my stock C5 computer. Nick, our tuner, hopefully by the time you guys watch this, did go his 7 on the stock computer. If not, you know, he's going to be very close to it. So we can do it, capable. The problem is the end user, the consumer, they don't always know what to listen for or feel. We use the adage, if it feels weird, it is weird. But if you're not really used to big power stuff to where you can blast on it and have your wits about you, you might not kind of be aware of stuff. And so our push for the higher horsepower things moving forward is going to be the standalone, to add that kind of security blanket behind the scenes watching if something were to go bad. I mean, mechanical things happen. You know, it's not always a tune. I know the internet loves to say, oh, a tuner's fault on stuff. And it's not always the case. And sometimes the fuel pump just dies. And without an aftermarket ECU to watch that fuel pressure, to realize that, react, abort the run if it's a turbo car, dump the boost. If it's a blower car, you know, cut throttle, do a whole bunch of things, you really could have a bad day. You didn't do anything wrong. It just happens in a blink of an eye. The fun thing is going to be watching this. I've got towels to put over the downpipes to mitigate how much water goes in them. We decided to do downpipes out the hood on this vehicle, so for those that are wondering, it is a top mount kit. To run the needed 3-inch downpipes, there's just no way to do it out the back. With the top mount, you run out of room, possibly with some custom manifolds, but you know, we didn't feel like Mike would have seen the value in that or wanted to, and he expressed that he didn't care. He wanted them out the hood because, you know, we're kind of in that day and age where that stuff's totally acceptable and it's kind of fun. The downpipes go out the hood and the wastegates go out the fenders. So far, so good. Now we're gonna take it back to the shop, check everything with the FLIR, see how temps are doing as far as real critical areas, by plug wires, coils, fuel rails, fittings, just everything, and make sure this thing's really good. And try to be as safe as possible with a car at this power level, and then wipe down the interior and get it ready for him to pick it up, man. Mike, I really hope you love this thing. I cannot thank you enough for letting us do this. You've been a really good customer to us, and I just really want to express my gratitude. You and your entire family, your dad with his Mustang, you know, from the first time you walked into my shop, you've always been extremely nice and cool. If there's any little hiccups, you get it, man, and that's great, because as this thing continues to evolve, I absolutely love it, and I love the relationship that you and I have developed, along with you and the guys in the shop. You know, they all look at you just as fondly as I do. You know, we genuinely enjoy having you around and seeing you just enjoy driving this thing, and this is why you work hard, man. And I'm really glad to be able to build something for you that is a reflection of why you bust your ass in your day-to-day life. So when you do get the opportunity to drive something, it's fun. You go out, you run a crazy time, or you race somebody, or you know, just everything that comes along with it. And I just really want you to know, from the bottom of my heart, and everybody at the shop, we are extremely grateful for you. Also, for those watching, I am not going to do a pull. This thing's on a 275 drag radial and makes way too much power for me to feel comfortable doing that. So you will only see track videos of this one.